Good morning. It's May 1st and I'm doing a morning walk on a Saturday, which is unusual. I'm just going to take a long ramble. I don't know exactly where, down into Lakeview, but try to find some different routes than I've taken before. Although, kind of have to start the same way I always start, by getting across the footbridge. Oh, it's pointing off in weird directions there. I don't know what that was all about. There we go. I changed a setting on YouTube, and hopefully that will, I won't get the unstable internet connection quite as much. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll still be buffering, I'm sure, but let's see what we can do. And I'm walking in shirt sleeves today. It's so nice. It's 14 degrees. There was a shower already, and there's supposed to be risk of more showers later, so another reason to walk in the morning. Also, Alice is off at work and Margaret Ann has a meeting, so can't go grocery shopping or anything, so I might as well do my walk. So first stop, as usual, is to get across the river. Just 1 week, actually I guess last night was 1 week, until the Regina Lyric Musical Theatre production flipped the script, which is gender-swapped Broadway songs that I'm singing in. I'm doing a female quartet, all 4 parts. And my wife and I did a duet, and Alice did a solo. So if you're interested in that, go to reginalyric.com and get tickets. You can watch it anywhere in the world for just $25 Canadian. That's like $20 US. 25 roughly Australian. We're almost at par, I happen to know from being an Australian author for Kickstarter, from the Kickstarter campaign. Anyway, you can watch it from anywhere if you're curious. If you happen to be watching me live today on Facebook or YouTube, drop a note. Oh, it's really nice. Nice not to be wearing a sweater. Oof. Might be a little cool if I wasn't walking, but it's not terrible. I think it's about 14 when I set out. I'll go along the dike to get across the bridge, and then we'll go down the other side. My tentative plan is to go up a couple of blocks and then start zigzagging through Lakeview along paths I probably haven't followed, at least not very often. And this might be a longer walk, depending on how that all works out. Keep an eye on the sky. Don't want to get rained on. I think the camera would be fine, the phone, because they're supposed to be pretty much waterproof to 1.5 meters for 15 minutes or something. But longer than that. I think it's more like half an hour. Although I keep trying to picture that, because of course there's that plug-in on the bottom. I don't see how that can be waterproof. But anyway, it should be resistant to low rain. Not so sure about the gimbal. Don't want to get it wet. I suppose I could take it off the gimbal and just carry the phone if I got caught in the rain. Put the gimbal in my pocket, maybe. Okay, up under the dike. I should probably explain the Kickstarter again, since I mentioned it, and you might be new to these walks. I have a podcast called The World Shapers, theworldshapers.com, where I interview other science fiction and fantasy authors about the creative process. And last year, I had the notion, after hearing a presentation at the Saska Books annual meeting, I'm a member of Saska Books through my publishing company, Shadow Paw Press. There was a presentation on kickstarting an anthology, and I thought, from a Winnipeg publisher, and I thought, hey, I know some authors. So I reached out to my first year guests and ended up with 18 who said they'd be part of that. 9 original stories, 9 reprints. Successfully kickstarted that. and decided to do it again this year because it worked last year. And this year, of course, it's my second year guests. And I ended up with more authors, 24 authors, 18 original stories. Same number of original stories as I had total stories in the first one, and 6 reprints. I already got, I think, 14 stories in. So they're coming in nicely. One of those is mine. I really should write it. I kind of have an idea. An idea that's been floating around for a long time that I may use. So that'll be out this fall for everybody to read, but the Kickstarter version gets done first and sent out to all the backers. 200 and what was the final number? There's fewer backers than last year, but more money. It's interesting. All right, here's our familiar footbridge. Well, so much for that setting fixing the instability problem, because there it is again. There's the creek, as I like to point the camera at as we go over the bridge. Very still today. Morning. You can see it's a lovely morning. If anybody's watching, haven't had any comments yet, but if you're on YouTube or Facebook, leave me a note. If you're watching the replay of this, the replay, recording, it's not a sporting event, well then, you can still leave a comment, but it won't show up while I'm walking, unless you're a time traveler. I'll just quit commenting on the unstable internet warning, because there's nothing I can do about it. Definitely see a flush of green now in the trees, in the bushes. The leaves starting to pop up everywhere. We got our short-lived blossoms, another month or so. Maybe I need to look at my cell phone contract and see if I can improve my upload speeds. Although again, I had absolutely none of this unstable warnings along here. The many times I've walked along here, I've never seen that until the last week. I have no idea why it's suddenly become a problem. And you're probably not hearing me because it'll be cutting in and out if that's really that unstable. But again, you will if you're watching the recording, of course. It's pretty. Green grass now. Trees just starting to get a little green. Well, we'll go this way just to vary the path. There used to be a fountain here. There you go. Rotary Park, established 1938. This will actually take us into the alley, but that's okay. I'm going, well, I guess I'll swing back the other way. It's not out of the way, but it's a Saturday morning. I can be as leisurely as I want on this walk. It's just kind of a out of the way loop there. This takes us back to the main path again. Lots of park benches here. You can come and sit, have picnics, or just enjoy. I could bring my computer over here, right? If I wanted, sitting on a bench. I've done that a few years ago when I was writing Magebane, my book written as Lee Arthur Chane. I went to the Banff Center for Self-Directed Writing Residency and did 50,000 words that week. And one of the places I wrote was sitting on a park bench down by the Bow River, just watching the water rush by with my laptop. Actually, I think that was back in the days of the netbook, the little tiny computers. Windows computer, before I became a Mac user. There's the Albert Street Bridge. See a little water running through there, through the spillway. I just hope the YouTube feed doesn't fail entirely. It seems to be along the river there, I get it. And when I came up this way before, it improved, so hopefully along Albert Street at least. So I'm not going to walk along Albert. I'm going to go over one block and walk down Angus to avoid all the traffic on Albert. Traffic noise. Maybe people aren't out of bed yet. It is a Saturday morning. Oh, it looked like I could catch the crosswalk light up here if I'm lucky. I don't know how, it should be a long one because it's Albert Street. Yes, I did catch it. I'm going to go down one block to the right and then just walk due south. I'm thinking a long way before I head back. We'll see. Even the big trees here, little hint of budding out. They don't look quite so brown and sere as they did before. And of course the grass is going green in a big way now. This is Regina Avenue, which leads straight to the Regina International Airport. I've walked along chunks of it many times. Oof. Always got to remember, driveways, there's usually a dip down. Okay, we're going to go straight south on Albert for many blocks, is the plan. And then start meandering my way back once I decide I've gone far enough. And here's Angus Street. We live on Angus Crescent. There's also an Angus Boulevard. Mr. Angus is well represented. And there's Angus beef too, but I don't think it's the same Angus. I don't know. I think I'll walk on the other side. I don't know why. It just feels better. I think it's because I'd rather have the rear ends of the cars facing me. If that makes sense. Haven't had any comments from anybody yet. If you're there, say hi. Even when I don't, I'll usually find that there's been a handful of people watching on YouTube. They just, oh, a little squirrel. Going for a walk too. Unlike him, I can't, oh, he's back. Taking my squirrel for a walk, apparently. He was fairly calm about it. One of our long straight roads that pretty much goes to the vanishing point. It did income taxes yesterday and owed money, which made it an unhappy day. Made more money last year, that's why I owed money, mainly because of the writer-in-residence at the Saskatoon Library that ran through May. So that was more money than I normally make on a regular basis. So despite all the deductions one can take, self-employed, still owed money. But it's done for another month, another year. Being a dual citizen, I still have to file U.S. income tax, although I never owe anything because the tax treaty, the basic deduction is way more than I've ever made. But I do have to file. I pointed out this one before, this house. It's some sort of group place now, I think. But it was an individual house at one point. Although I don't think for very long, if I remember from my book. And there's a really big one over in that corner too. Recently enlarged, I think. I don't think it was that big to begin with. So I don't get run over here. I think I've been in this one. I don't remember why, but I think I have. Still just walking straight south. Every step this way has to be made up going the other way, so definitely working on a longer walk today. Lots of nice houses here. It's sort of classic. What's the style? Is that Georgian? More or less? I don't know. But you know, the symmetrical. And that one has some nice details on it. Another one of the same ilk over there. There's lots of them along here that look like that. Well, I'm not getting my unstable internet warning along here, so that's good. Haven't had any comments from anybody who might be watching live. If you are, say hi. I should be able to read it. The sun's not directly shining on the screen. Here we are, 21st. Keep going south. I'm thinking I might go all the way down to the Golden Mile Center before I start back. That's a mall, in case you're wondering. I think they still call it the Golden Mile. I think they changed the name. It was completely, basically torn down and rebuilt, so it's not the same place that it once was when I first moved here. Another nice one of that sort of symmetrical look with the shutters. Oh, I know the person who lives there. I've been in that house many times. They're doing some work. I don't know why we have fewer brick houses than you might think. There's one of them. That's an interesting one over there, too. Lots of them. Can't show them all, but there's lots of interesting houses down here in Lakeview. I'm glad I didn't wear a sweater. I'm already working up a sweat. Just thought you'd like to know. Here's Hill Avenue. Morning. And continuing south. It is a lovely morning. There are kind of gray clouds off to my right, so I hope the nice weather continues for the length of my walk. It's just supposed to be showers, so hopefully nothing that I have to worry about. Now, I did come along here a few days ago because I remember this big house on the right with the huge columns. And I turned left here to go over to the park. Today I'll keep going south. But yeah, this one is somewhat grand. And brick, and I don't think it's an old one. I'm pretty sure it's brand new. Nice one. But it's really using all of its lot, that's for sure. Okay, I know for sure I'm in fresh territory down here, walking wise. You know, for those who watch every one of these, taking notes. As far as I can tell, nobody's watching this morning, not live, but I'm here. And if you're watching the recording, you won't care. It's just nice to get a comment or two, something to respond to as I walk. Assiniboine Avenue. Used to know someone who lived on Assiniboine back when I was doing Thai productions. Thai stood for Tom and Yvonne Ellis, and Yvonne was kind of the producer, and she lived on Assiniboine. Along here somewhere, I would think, or it might be further down to the right. Did a lot of those shows. When I first moved to Regina, I did everything I could get into. Summer stage, some little theater, Lyric, Regina Lyric Light Opera at the time, of course, Thai productions. I was usually doing, almost always in rehearsal. And then a few years later, 98 I think it was, Susan Furley hired me for On Golden Pond at Globe. I've only done 2 Globe shows. That was one of them. The other one was 12th Night. Small part. In the On Golden Pond, I played the boyfriend from California, if you know the show. That's when I got my equity card, anyway. So I am a member of Canadian Actors Equity. But it's a very minor sidelight, the acting. My professional shows are few and far between. Although when I direct, of course, that's also through equity. When I direct for Lyric, there's an equity contract involved. Okay. Angus does not go as far south as I thought it might. So, if I go to the left, I'll end up walking down Albert, which I don't really want to do, so I will go to the right. This is kind of as far south as I've walked on one of these. We're going to turn left and go even further south. This will definitely be more than an hour, this walk. That's okay. Even though nobody's watching live, apparently. Usually I get somebody on Facebook. I would have thought Saturday morning there might be people just having their coffee in front of their computer who would say hi, but so far, nada. And of course, with the unstable internet connection, it's always possible the stream has failed and I'm just talking to myself live and to future viewers. Interesting house. So if you're watching the recording, you're in the future. I hope it's a good one. I'm stuck here in the present and can never get to the future unless I'm looking at something from the past. Then I'm in the future. If only I had a DeLorean to sort it all out. If only I had a DeLorean. That'd be a cool thing to have, even if it wasn't a time machine. Oh, there's someone. Oh, hi, Miriam. Friend from India. Well, it's a beautiful day here. As long as I don't get rained on. Just strolling through residential areas today. I haven't had my unstable internet warning for a while, so hopefully that was just down along the creek for some reason. Never used to get it down there, but last few times I have. We're getting close to Golden Mile Shopping Center in South Albert, which abruptly shifts from residential to commercial. That's when I will turn and start the trek back in a more zigzag fashion, that one. I love my zigzags. There we go, up there where that stop sign is. Yeah, I'll stay on this side till I get up there. Point the camera down South Albert. Oh. Beautiful country. Yeah. This is hardly the prettiest part of it. Try Banff, Lake Louise, the Rockies. I mean, I love the prairies. The prairies are beautiful too, in their own way. Most people, when they think of beautiful Canadian scenery, think of the Rockies. Senton Avenue. And that's the Golden Mile Shopping Center directly ahead of us under that big Canadian flag. So we will turn right and begin a zigzag and see where that ends us up. And finally make our way home, my way home. You probably are home. And I've taken what? 33 minutes to here. And I'm not going straight back, so it'll easily be probably an hour and 15 minutes total for this one. And it's done. Good for my own purposes to know it takes half an hour to walk to here. If I ever want to come shopping and don't want to bring the car, it's not that long a walk. Not that there's any store in here that I'm... Well, I guess technically my bank is in here, but I actually do my banking the downtown branch, even though the accounts are actually with this branch. So, there's the Golden Mile, and then you can see a little bit of South Albert there with a hotel and shops and things. So it's kind of all commercial then going on south from there. So we're going to go this way. So you can see perhaps a slight threat of showers there in front of me. Looks like it might be going to the south, so that's good. More wind too, but that's good because I'm warm. Now the stop sign up here, if I just followed that straight back, it would take me home in the most direct fashion. That wasn't my plan. I'm just going to keep zigzagging out to the west. I shouldn't say straight. because it has angled this direction to be this close when back at the other end there are several blocks between Albert and I guess it's Argyle here, Elphinstone further north. You see lots of apartment buildings now on that side and still individual houses on this side. Not the most architecturally interesting apartment buildings, to say the least. So I'll cross at the four-way and then start to my right, back north-ish. Anybody that runs the stop sign now, I'm going to have video evidence. Okay, I'll get away from this and move back up to the north. Along Argyle, if you're following on Google Maps, but I'm not going to stay on Argyle. All the way back. I'll have to step off for these people when they come by. So one viewer on YouTube that I'm aware of. Haven't had anybody check in from Facebook. If you're there, please do. Always jealous of Walking Commuter that I mentioned in Manhattan. Him with his thousands of views. People checking in as soon as he gets online. People giving him money. What's Manhattan got that Regina don't got? And yes, I know that was bad grammar. I feel like I have to say that since I'm a writer. I know when I use bad grammar, I do it deliberately. That's the difference. Okay, we're gonna start zigzagging this way and see where that takes us. This is all new territory, walking-wise. Although, you know, Lakeview looks like Lakeview, no matter which street you're on. One of the older residential areas. Well, further up especially. Down here it's not that old. I mean, depends on how old you are, I guess. It's probably built in the 60s, these houses, maybe? They don't look 50s, 60s or 70s. I'd say 60s for the most part. You know, depending on the specific house. Very modern one. Oop, they're on the corner. Coming up. This is an interesting road. It just curves. So yeah, very modern one there in the corner. Saturday morning sounds, hammering, a saw or something going off to my left, possibly a vacuum cleaner. And then birds. Not much traffic down here. And this one just curves around again. It's like a saw. There's a big old spruce. Been there a while. Get that big. Doesn't look too threatening over there, so I think I'm probably okay. Rain-wise. So no zigzagging involved there, the road just curved. More or less the way I want to go. Don't have much to talk about this morning. Just enjoy the ambient sound, I guess. However much makes it through the little mic. The trouble, you're not watching your feet when you're doing this. I just tripped over a uplifted bit of the sidewalk there. Didn't fall though. Never fallen yet while I was doing this. Okay, this may be the park that I walked through weeks ago. I'm coming at it from the other end instead of in the middle. This is where I will zig to the left. And see where it takes me. Yeah, it's got to be. I walked into it from up there somewhere a couple of weekends ago. Or was that last weekend? I think it was 2 weekends ago. Done a lot of these now. Didn't miss a day in April. Here it is May. And I'd done a couple of weeks in March without missing a day too, I think. So, hey, so we'll go this way and see where that takes us. Now, I could take the path there, which is what they're doing. It's probably the path I was on before. A lot of people walking. That's because we just joined the proper path here. Lots of people on it. For that very reason, I'm going to stay off of it. I've been on that before, a little further down. So I'll stay here just to be different. because I believe I went across that, in fact I'm sure, I went across that footbridge and then walked up sort of where those people and the person and the dog are, and beyond that along the creek. So I've been there, done that. I'm gonna go this way instead. And zig on the road instead of on the path. It's kind of a nice one with the white siding and the brick and the red roof. It has a dog because there's a chain link fence behind it. You know, it's a low traffic area when people walk their children in the middle of the road. Check the road here and see how I've turned with the winding road back there. It's possible I'm walking in the wrong direction. Lakeview Avenue. Oh, it should be right. We will zig to the right at the next intersection. Anybody on Facebook, say hi. Nobody has this morning. There's usually somebody on Facebook. Now place. If it's a place, it may be a dead end. I'll have to go down to the stop sign. Oh, yeah, it is not a dead end. I could probably get back to the footbridge, but I don't want that, so I'll keep going. So the stop sign, that'll be a proper. Or actually, there's one before that. Nope, that's also a place. Had any unstable internet warnings down here, at least, so that's good. If anybody is watching live still, if you're still there, Miriam, or anybody on Facebook or anybody else on YouTube, hopefully you're getting a nice stream. Yes, another place, so going into that would just not take me anywhere probably. So yeah, there's just a turnaround down there. Sure, it's a lovely place, but I don't need to do a tour of it right now. Okay, this one will take us to the right, to the north. And it does look like those showers are staying to the left, to my south, my left, everybody south, my left. Okay, where is, oh, this is Queen Street. Okay, that makes sense. Know where I am in relation to everything else. Guess I won't go any further down Queen Street. Sidewalk's probably open, but there's a zag before that I will take to the left. So, extending my walk by doing that. Not sure what they're doing. But the road is all torn up. Gutters, maybe? There's fresh sidewalk on this side, so maybe they did this one last year and they're moving on down the road this year. He's on down the road. That's the little whiz for you there, the whiz, that is. Don't you carry nothing that might be a load. He's on down the road. Ah, okay. The busy road up ahead. Busier road, where the stop sign is pretty much as far as I can zigzag that way. And then I'll start zigzagging back. There's one more road before that I can probably take to the right. That was Queen, this is King. There's also, well, we have Princess Place back there, but there is a Princess Street as well, further up. And out there, past the end, that's the real Saskatchewan landscape. Miriam, if you're still watching. That sort of straight line with no trees, that's what Saskatchewan looks like down here in the south. Pretty much any tree you see, somebody planted. Because these were grasslands. It's not a natural landscape. This is one of the most man-changed landscapes in the world from farming. It's pretty much all of the original grasslands, except maybe down in Grasslands National Park. There's very little of it left. It's all been plowed under and turned into farmland. So yeah, it's country, but it's not actually a natural landscape, except that it's flat. It was always flat. It was, well, we were under what, a kilometer of ice or something during the last ice age. And then after that, we were under a lake, Lake Assiniboine, when the ice melted. There you go, Saskatchewan. Which is why we have such rich soil, of course. It was a lake bed down here. But yeah, 20,000 years ago, I would be doing this walk under a kilometer of ice, which would have been very difficult. Also, iPhones hadn't been invented yet. Wending my way back to, well, not to you, but to home. I like it better now, without the kilometer of ice on top of my head. I'm funny that way. The lake would have been cool, not to be a problem of it. Would have been easily the size of one of the Great Lakes, I would think, at its peak. It's probably shallow, relatively. And if you ever come to Regina, go to the Royal Saskatchewan Museum, you can read all about this stuff. That's what it's all about. It used to be called the Museum of Natural History. And I've walked by it several times now, and I'd like to point out that it has a cast of Scotty, the largest T-Rex skeleton ever found, which was found here in Saskatchewan, though not here, over in the southwest in the Frenchman River Valley, which is a very deep valley, so it has exposed layers from 65 million years ago. The infamous KT layer marking the asteroid impact is quite visible there. I was out there when they were digging up Scotty for a day, helping with the film project and doing off-camera interviews with some of the scientists. So I got to see the actual dig. Hot, dusty, and you had to park and hike across the valley. And it was another reminder that my childhood flirtation with being a paleontologist which many children have because we all love dinosaurs. Not following that up was the right move because I'm not really the type to crouch in the dirt with a whisk broom for hours at a time. Archaeologists have the same problem. One of the authors I just interviewed, Sebastian de Castel, for the podcast. All right, so this will take us right over to Pasqua, and I don't think there's a sidewalk, so I might be coming back again. Or walking through the grass for a little bit. Anyway, he actually studied archaeology, and he said it took him about 4 hours on his first dig to realize that he hated archaeology. Oh, here's the Hindu temple here on my right. Large Indian population in Regina. So what we've been walking behind is a lot of offices, professional things. We will be walking in the grass here. And into the river. And we'll zig back on the next road. Go by the temple here. I think right here is where I came out on a previous walk. So going back again, it'll be a different route though if I keep to my zigzag plans. But I came out here a few days ago when I walked. Because I commented on that, was Dutch growers there. We always got a Christmas tree greenhouses, but they've moved to a far less handy location. So I am back now into territory that I've walked along before. First time I came down this way, I came out of the valley right where those people are on the bridge and went on down this road. My intention here is to, that's the Lakeview Par 3 golf course off to my left. Walk through it. Bike wearing a mask makes no sense. I'm sorry, no sense whatsoever. With the wind blowing a gale, it's not a virus. Not a virus to fear under those circumstances. Who might argue? Okay, there's a grove. We'll walk along, because I came that way before, down this alley here. So rather than repeat myself there, I'll walk over here along the, you can see people are playing golf on the par 3. I wasn't sure it was still open. Maybe it's not. Maybe they're just playing anyway, without flags. So I don't see any flags on the course. So a little bit of the, not the main part of the creek, but a side channel there. Probably a flood control channel. Well, maybe they do have the flags up. I guess it's open. Only played it a couple of times, not much of a golfer. already over an hour, so this is going to be my longest walk ever. Hope the battery holds up. Oh. They're the prairies of Canada we learn about in geography. Yes, they are. We are in the very heart of the Canadian prairie. Breadbasket of the world, it has been called. Little bridge there. Want to get your boat? There's a place to buy boats. I'll just keep walking along here till I get to a road that goes the other way, I guess. Otherwise I have to walk straight through the golf course, and I don't want to do that when people are actually playing. Though I am on the course right now, so I should go down by the river or over past these trees. So I'm not walking on the fairway. So we're kind of on the edge of town. The airport's over there. Across that busier road. Another note, if I can read it. Nope, that's one I already answered. Here's the golf course. If you're wondering. Right now, unlikely to lose your ball. That's one good thing about it. Also, it's a par 3, so you're not hitting really long drive. That's the clubhouse over there. All the cars parked, so clearly it's open. Now I might zig along their driveway just to start moving in that direction once I get past the course part here. See the prairie again over there past those trees. Yeah, I'll take there. I can cut through here. Get off the course here. There's somebody playing that hole, which I didn't see until I decided to take a shortcut. This is the parking lot for the golf course. Oh, and there's my unstable internet. You can hear a plane taking off from the airport behind us. There's also tennis courts up here. Getting thirsty. I'll be happy to get home now. Still probably 20 minutes at least. So definitely my longest walk yet. Nice paved alley here for some reason. But to continue my zigzagging, I will turn left here. Be heading slowly back to Regina Avenue and then straight shot home from there. All right, back into the residential area with all the planted trees. Still haven't had any comments from Facebook. Is anybody on Facebook watching me? Say hi, if so. Church over there to my left, I believe, has that look. That's Pasco again over there, but we are going right. Why do people wear masks when they're getting in cars? Why do they do that? Again, there's the edge of town, the airport across there. Heading north again. Well over an hour already. I knew this would be a longer one. Figured a Saturday was the day to do it. Still planning maybe this coming week. I'll take a walk around the University of Regina. Drive over, park a little closer, and then take the pathway over there and walk around the campus a bit. Not that it was my university. I took an off-campus university course, but not where I got my degree. My wife got her degree there, engineering degree. But I went to university in Arkansas. That's right, I am headed north, which means actually might as well be on the other side of the street. That's my next sig will be to the right. But it has some interesting buildings. It should be worth a walk around for sure. So maybe this week. I don't have income tax to do this week. Lots of other work to do, but I do the walk no matter what. That's the whole purpose of these live streams and recordings, is it's my motivation to walk every day. It's like, even though not a lot of people are watching me, some people are. It's like I want to impress them with my dedication. And show off Regina. As far as I know, I'm the only person doing the live walks in Regina. Guess I haven't really looked. Yeah, it's Regina Avenue already. Switching hands because I've been holding that very yet is. Okay, well, it's a long straight walk from here then. I'll quit zigzagging. Yes, that's the direct way to go. I could zigzag a little bit more, I guess, and get over to the park. Get back on the footpath, but I think I'll just walk straight. I haven't walked much going east on Regina Avenue. As you can see, long straight road, long straight sidewalk. But if we turn around, well, you can't see much back there, but back behind me then is the edge of town and the airport. Regina International Airport. It's not a very big airport. That makes it sound like a big airport. It's got maybe 8 gates or something like that. YQR is the airport code and used for hashtags on Twitter too, if you want to hashtag. I'm just going to stay on this side because I haven't walked down it before much in this direction. And get down to the intersection and then we'll go over and we take a turn through Waterfall Park. I haven't looked at that for a few days. See if the ice has finally melted out of the pool. It was 24 degrees yesterday, so one would hope. And it's 14 when I set out. I would say it's at least 18 or 19 by now. Hard to judge when you're walking fast enough to sweat, which I've been doing now for an hour. Even if nobody's watching me on Facebook. I could always take a walk through the alleys sometime. I keep talking about that possibility, but they're not as pretty. Over on that side, it's all these not very distinguished apartments along Regina Avenue here. Handy for the airport though. Any of these places are. We're pretty handy, but these places are really handy. Well, I did come a long way this way. Well, I knew that once I hit Pasqua. I knew I had gone a long way to the west. Nice new sidewalk. I might go ahead and cross over here because somebody's coming and because I need to get to the other side anyway. There's Sheldon Williams Collegiate over there that I've walked by a few times. Look, it's just as long and straight on this side. The lights up there will take us into the park, and then it's just a short jaunt back over the footbridge and home. Just for fun, I'll take the alley here. There's Mosaic Stadium, those white roofs up there that I walked to earlier this week, although apparently the sound didn't work on Facebook for that one for some reason. Sheldon Williams over there. I've walked along this alley before too. It's hard to find any place I haven't walked at least once now in these areas. Mostly did that to avoid pointing the camera right at those people who are going to be walking toward me for a very long time, given the straightness of the sidewalk. So as you can see, alley walking isn't as scenic as street walking. Street walking has another meaning, but you know what I mean. I'll go back to Regina Avenue now. Do that short detour. The alley just runs into the back of the strip mall up there, so no joy that way. The Apostolic Church, it used to be Disciples of Christ. Christian Church, Disciples of Christ. And this little strip mall over here, it's been redone a few times from what it used to look like. And a piece of clothing, a random piece of clothing. It's like a child's shirt. I always wonder how those things end up on the sidewalk or the road. It's usually shoes. That's the front of the strip mall. And a condo building past it. Okay. Across here, we'll take a turn down into the waterfall garden. Good timing. There's a globe flying there, abandoned as well. More scenic than staying on that boring straight road, especially when following somebody. If you're on Facebook and you haven't said hello, you're running out of time. I'll be home in 10 or 15 minutes. We'll go down to the left so we can see. I'm assuming all the ice is out of the pool now. I've been down here for a few days. It was still ice and snow last time I was down here because it's very shaded down there. Well, the waterfall's not going, but it looks like the ice is gone at least. So there's a waterfall that falls in that pool. Should be starting up pretty soon. I'll turn around and get a better view at the whole thing. There were people right there, so I didn't want to stop. But this is the waterfall park. I've been through it several times now. Fresh snow, starting to turn green though, and eventually that waterfall will start up. Do not enter, says the sign. Non-potable water. Don't drink it. I'm sure it's recycled, it just goes around and around, with some being put in to replace it. All right, we're back on our familiar walk by Wascana Creek. And there's the footbridge down there waiting for us. Starting to feel like this walk has been long enough now, after an hour and 20 minutes. Maybe I'll do a short one tomorrow. That all balances out. Nice view of the footbridge, the water. Bell would have been nice. So I had no idea either one of those guys were coming just as I'm about to turn left. That's what bicycle bells are for. Very few people use them. You could easily turn left in front of somebody coming along there right by the footbridge and get clobbered. Okay, back across the bridge. Another look at the creek. Hasn't changed since we went the other way. Over there. I'll take the dike, at least part of the way. Maybe go down the alley like I've done a couple of times. Nice dog down there. It is a very nice backyard. Two-story treehouse. Oh, no tree. And there's the warning again. Unstable internet. Along the creek here. I didn't see it for the rest of the walk, but I saw it here before I started. Or as I started. Actually, I'll take these stairs down. Don't take them very often. And maybe the signal will improve. Really coming up on the last chance for anybody on Facebook to say hi if you've been watching. Very close to home now. Trying to remember if this tree blossoms, if it's a cherry tree. Oh, looks like a dove sitting in it. I think that's a dove. We won't get our blossoms for a while yet, unlike some places which already had them and they've already probably fallen already. Victoria, Vancouver Island, I think, will have had them, or still has them, has already had them. Because we went out there in late April one year and left here, it wasn't very nice, and got there and it was all cherry blossoms. So. And I presume in Japan it's somewhere around cherry blossom time right now. Not here for a while yet. Alright, it's wandered off again from where it was before. Close to an hour and a half on this walk. I think that's about as long as I'll ever want to do. And it'll be an hour and a half by the time I get home, so that's a long one for me. Here's Vitalik, 2 more blocks. Our Bavarian turreted entrance that I like to point out. I've never been in that house, but I've always liked the turret. And running into more kids. Just 1 more block. I'm always looking at this thing and not seeing anybody going by. At least my head's up when I'm doing it. Somebody I knew, I walked by without noticing. Okie dokie. Here's our stopping spot. So, thanks for watching if you're here live. And if you're watching the recording, thanks for watching that. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.